This is Donna Devane, station owner, director, producer, and Jackie of all trades here at Awakened Radio. And I am coming to you today with an opportunity for you to co-create using the Thrival Energy Principles with Awakened Radio Network. We are in need of a new PC. Every year, we're burning through a computer. I checked with a computer technician, and he can build us a superstation computer that should last us 2 to 3 years for $1,500, which is less than what I am spending purchasing a new computer every year. So this is what we've done. I have created a Support the Station page on awakenedradio.net. We are asking you to co-create with us. Whatever you are capable of donating, $5, $10, $50, $100, more, we would greatly appreciate you being part of what we're doing. We are reaching the world, literally, with the message of personal empowerment. Just recently, the March Against Monsanto in North Carolina, in Charlotte, was covered only by the Awakened Radio Network. Our host, Chris Bula, was our live reporter there on the ground. We are able to do things that mainstream media just will not do. But in order for us to continue to grow and expand and replace the equipment that we need to really reach people, we need your help. And not really, we don't really need your help. We would appreciate you working with us, co-creating with us. We've done so much in a year and a half, and this is our opportunity to experience. Thrival Energy Principles are about I am prosperous. I am the creator of my experience. I am empowered. I do make a difference. I do create on purpose. And I am inviting you personally to kind of put your money where your mouth is. Help us help the world is really what it boils down to. Your love gifts are greatly appreciated. As I said, we have a special page on the website for supporting the station, as well as donate buttons sprinkled throughout our website. Be part of what Awakened Radio is doing. If you're a regular listener, if you've been interviewed, you love what we're doing, you believe in it, then help us. Visit awakenedradio.net today. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with your host, Pernilla Lillerose. We were thinking we might have a little glitch this morning with the show, but I think Donna got it all working again, and like she just shared, it would be wonderful with some support from the listeners so we can keep doing what we're doing. The computer is on its last legs and it needs a little help. So whoever is moved to support us, we welcome it with an open heart. Thank you so much. And do remember that this radio station is listener supported. We do not advertise with big corporations or anything like that. It's you and me, and it's you and me wanting to make a difference in the world. And this is one beautiful way, a beautiful outlet and platform where we can do that, where we can reach many, many people with our love, with our insights, the realizations, the awakenings, all the things that more and more are tapping into. So please help if you can, and if you can't, don't worry. Please stay connected with us. We love having you here either way. If you would like to be part of my broadcast today and want to connect, you can go to the chat room, and you can just go in there and say hello, either with your real name, a made-up name, or anonymous. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is that we start connecting more with each other. We start sharing with each other. We start coming out of isolation and fragmentation and all the ways that we have been keeping ourselves separate from each other, which is part of why so many of us have been struggling to live a fulfilled life. We really are not meant to do it alone. And I want to talk some more about that today. If you would like to call in today and chat with me, talk with me live, I invite you to call in on 334-649-7204. And so either call in or chat in and just share yourself, your name, anything you want to share about what we're talking about today would be lovely. Any questions are welcome. And of course, you can always go before or after the show. You can always go to the forum. You can connect with me there. I post there every week on the forum on awakenradio.net. And you can always reply or share or just connect. I just keep inviting you to connect, because that's what is so hard for so many of us, because we are so used to living in this isolation and having to do it on my own. Can you relate to that one? Mm-hmm. This feeling inside that tells you that you have to do it on your own, and that it's embarrassing to ask for help, or that you're afraid you're going to be a burden if you ask for help. So with those beliefs and those ingrained behaviors, we keep ourselves separate. And because of that, we're not moving into the world, into the new energy, the new paradigm of what is available to us today. And I cannot stress enough how important that is. And I am aware that I run into a lot of barriers when I share that, a lot of resistance sometimes, because we're not used to it. We're simply not used to doing it together. I posted this beautiful picture from an African proverb yesterday on Facebook, and it says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." Well, does that ever describe the world today, doesn't it? We have gone so fast, and we keep going faster and faster to the point where most of us are overwhelmed and stressed out, and we're trying to keep up with all the new things that are showing up. There's so much that we need to keep up on constantly, and really all it does is makes us stressed out. Because if you really look at it, I mean, I'm not saying we haven't made a lot of progress, because we have, and I'm very grateful for all the technological progress that's been made. The things we can do today is unbelievable. But if we look at it more from an emotional, spiritual point of view, where have we gotten? Have we really gotten anywhere? Or are we really getting anywhere with all this fastness, this busyness, this, really fast pace, where we are moving and moving and moving forward to the point that we are not paying attention to what's going on around us? Let's take a breath just to help us slow down from this fast pace that so many of us are living under or in. Let's take a breath and just arrive here, this moment, inside of your own body, not your mind, not your thinking. It's a step down from that. And I think many times just to pause and take a breath, it can allow us to drop from the mind and just take that one step down into the body, into the heart, into the chest, into the belly, all the way down into your legs and your feet. And just feel yourself here for a moment. We forget often that we have a body. It sounds funny to say that. It's not, a body is not just something we need to feed and wash and, maybe take a little care of like a car. Our body is a source of wisdom and intelligence that can guide us every moment to what's important and to what truly matters to you. And know when we're in the mind and we're going at this really high speed because we think we need to get somewhere, to get something, and it doesn't work, does it? It's the mind is always trying to go somewhere, to get somewhere and get something, hoping that it's going to make us happy and fulfilled. We chase one thing after the other. Bigger car, better house, better position, more money. Always, always hoping that it's going to give us a sense of fulfillment and freedom and happiness. But really, what is it really, really doing for us? So here's what I would like to suggest. Instead of like this African proverb, it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. How are you feeling? Are you going it alone? Are you moving out there alone and trying to figure it all out on your own? Trying to handle it all on your own? Believing you have to do it on your own because nobody is there for you. Nobody's going to help you. And I would think that most of us can come up with plenty of experiences and memories where we felt we had to do it on our own because there was really nobody there for us, right? I can come up with plenty of memories about that. And I have to admit that most of my life, and even up till today, I still fall for that trap, for that belief that I have to do it all on my own. Now, you're probably not surprised if you've listened to my broadcast before that I'm very much about gathering women together. We can do it together. Like this proverb says, if you want to go far, go together. Well, I don't know what far means. It can, of course, mean different things. But to me, far means emotionally, spiritually, far in a way where we start creating a world that is sustainable, that is fulfilling, that where there's community, where we connect with each other, where we enjoy each other, and where we do things together. Doing things together is so much more fun than doing them on our own. And I have shared with you before how we have our community garden going on my little street here where I live. And every time we get together, we've had a couple of work days where some of us show up and do things together. It's totally, totally different. There's such a sense of joy and freedom and relaxation in that, just knowing that we're not doing it all on our own. Because if you look at a garden like that, and a community garden, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You know, it needs to be planted and fertilized and watered, and the weeds need to be pulled, and, you know, then there's gophers. We need to fix the gopher holes, and then the blackberries are moving in, so we need to remove the blackberries, and there's an ongoing thing where we need to work on it all the time. Now, if you're doing that all on your own, it is so overwhelming. And I'm sure a lot of you are in that position. So I'm just so fortunate that I do live on a street where we want this. There's a lot of us who want this. Not everybody, because we can't make anybody do something that's not natural for them or something they really enjoy. But for those who are motivated and for those who can feel the truth of this, they join in. And it's just fun. It makes it so much more alive and enjoyable. And it makes it kind of like this is the feeling that I get when we do these things. It's like, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm here for. Growing vegetables, connecting with my neighborhood, connecting with my friends, doing things together, and growing healthy organic food, so we have enough food for our whole street. We're not there yet, but we're working our way towards that. There's still a lot of work to be done. We may need more planter boxes. We may need to plant more food if we want to be able to feed the whole street here. And so it's something we work towards. We just go one step at a time. But the thing is, so if you want to go far, go together. If you want to grow a big garden with lots of food for everyone, we do it together, right? And that's how it is with everything. It's not just a garden. It's anything in our life. If we want to create something that we can go far with, right? Something that is lasting, sustainable, we do it together. And how can we get into this groove? How can we start a new groove where we do things together? How can we get out of the old groove where we do it all on our own? Just take a moment and think about your life. How many things are you doing on your own? How many times a day do you feel overwhelmed because you have so much to do and you're all on your own? That's that first sentence. If you want to go fast, go alone. Are you going alone? And do you have to work fast and hard all the time because you're all on your own? My wish for all of us is that we can shift from doing it alone and doing it fast and working hard to doing it together, and then creating something that's sustainable and lasting and enjoyable for everyone, for the people and for the earth itself. It's not just for one individual. We're creating something that is lasting for all of us, and it's something we all long for. Yeah, right. We're longing for a new world that's built on peace and love and integrity and service, respect for each other. There's a whole new energy that we're all longing for, and I guarantee you that if you keep thinking you have to do it all on your own, it's not going to happen. The happening is doing it together. So that's why the title of this talk that I'm having today, or this broadcast today, I call it the power of circles, or the power of groups. There is a tremendous amount of power in groups. And when we get into these circles or these groups, it's important that we start sharing heart to heart with each other. It's not just a matter of getting together in a group and maybe even do what we've done in the past. You know, you go to a party and there's nice food and there's nice drinks, and we have some superficial talks or maybe some deep talks. You know, I usually am somebody you'll find somewhere with one person, where we have deep, intimate talks, and it's wonderful. But I do think that we need to get more into groups where we can be intimate with each other and start sharing from a heartfelt level about what's going on with us, what we envision is possible to change in the world. So it's not just superficial chit chat. I mean, it's fine if that's there, but there can be a real intention, or there should really be a real intention for these circles or these groups, so that we start doing things together so we can go far, right? If you want to go far, go together. So if we get together in a group or a circle, we decide what is it that we want to create, what is it that we want to do different, both in our own lives and in our community. And then we can have some real heartfelt conversations about that and start talking about what it is that is really important and what really matters. I had this insight the other day because I've been working a lot with, getting groups together, getting circles together, getting people to connect, getting people to share about what holds them back. And as you probably also know, in my private work, I work with clients privately, help them connect back to themselves, help them trust their heart, getting in alignment with what's true for them, what really matters, and help them meet themselves at deep levels of love, the parts of ourselves that we have cut off. I help them bring them back to themselves in whatever way is needed in the moment. So what I was thinking here, we're all doing this great work, so many people are doing that kind of work, and we start waking up to ourselves, we do our inner work, we get more connected with ourselves, we start living more in our truth. But then what? Then we step back into the world, basically a dysfunctional world. And so here you come with your dysfunction has become, the dys has been taken out, so you're functional now in a healthy way. But you still step into a world that is basically dysfunctional. And when you step back into this world, you have to abide by their rules more or less, because we are dependent on them still. Like I've talked about before, we are still we're still fully connected to the system that we live in. That means the money system, the healthcare system, the school system. There's the food system. Unless we start creating our own, we are dependent on it. So here we go out, we go in and do our inner work. We wake up to a certain, to more or less to who we are. But we still live in a world that is dysfunctional. And I want to compare it with the fact, let's say you are in a dysfunctional relationship and you do your inner work and you find out that this relationship is not healthy for you anymore. So either you're going to go back and you'll be able to change that in the relationship where you can make it more functional, more healthy functional, where you can start living more according to what's true for you. And maybe the other person will go along with it. So you start creating a healthy relationship. That's great. But you may also realize that the person you are with, that it cannot be any different, because this person may not be ready, willing, open to making the changes, so that they stay in that dysfunctional energy. And the best thing for the other person then who's done their work could be, I'm not saying it has to be, but it could be to leave the relationship with love, with integrity, and move on, and then maybe find another partner where it can be more in more healthy, more based on deeper values than just codependency and dysfunction. But if I compare that with the world, the world is still dysfunctional. So, and you can't just leave this world. I mean, I know some people do, and they move away, where they can just live on their own and live separate from the world, independent of the world. Maybe they get off the grid and whatever you can do. That is one way of doing it, but then you are still living in isolation, right? You're not living in a world where we support each other, we help each other, we do something to make the relationship with the world healthy or functional. So there is a little bit of a difference. If you have done your inner work and you've come to a place inside of yourself where you feel strong and healthy and, you got strong, clear boundaries, you know what you want, you know what's true and right for you. And bingo, you're going into the world and here's the whole sick system and whole money system that you still need to use and are dependent on. So what do we do, right? There needs to be a step where there needs to be a place we can step into when we have done our inner work, when we realize that the world is basically a reflection of the dysfunction that we have been living inside of ourselves, the isolation, the fragmentation, because the outer world is a reflection of that. So that now that we've done our inner work and we step back into the world, now we need to do whatever we can do to shift it on the outside too. But it's not done on our own. This is the place where we could go back to a dysfunctional part inside of ourselves, still thinking that we need to do it all on our own. And that's why I feel so strongly about keep sharing with you the importance of doing it together. So we need to get together with other like-hearted, like-visioned people, women, men, it doesn't matter, whatever, whoever you feel in resonance with, people who want the same, who also have that deep longing inside to create a new world. We need to find each other. We need to connect with each other. And then we need to find ways how we can change that. And I think a very, very important first step is to how do we live that with each other in a little group. What I keep seeing too is that there's many people who want to go out there and change the world, and they have a beautiful vision, they have beautiful ideas, and they may even live it more or less inside of themselves, because none of us are perfect. Nobody's living this in a perfect way. We're all learning, and that's good enough. But we need to find people who not only have the vision, but who also are willing to learn how to live it in a group or in a circle. And that's why I find it so important to get into these circles and start sharing ourselves on a heart level. We need to learn how to live these values that we want to see out in the world and that we are beginning to live inside of ourselves. The next step is to start living that with a group of people and learning how to do that. Because let's face it, guys, none of us really knows how to do that. Most of us have not even been able to live it in an intimate relationship, right? When there's conflict, it's problematic, and most of us have not quite learned how to move through it all without leaving the relationship or without arguing and getting all into all the old problems that we have. So we need to start opening up to getting into circles and then learning how to live these values, these shared values that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. And I see we're right at the half of the hour. So we're going to go on a little break, and then I want to invite you to call in or chat in if you want to connect with me. And then we'll talk more right after the break. Thank you.
Awakened Radio, your listener-supported, online, global radio station, where we all come together to share the love and the energy of change that we know ourselves to be. Thank you so much for clicking on our love, gift, and donate buttons throughout the website. Your support is very appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing and making real your love and your appreciation for what all the hosts at Awakened Radio are doing. This is Donna Devane, station owner, saying we really appreciate your help.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little-Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back. This is Pernilla Little-Rose, your host, and this is Evolutionary Women Radio. And yeah, it is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. And maybe I'll just say a little more about Women Standing for Love. If you live in the Bay Area, tonight at 7:15, we have I think it's our 5th gathering for Women Standing for Love here in Santa Cruz, California. And you can find more information about that by going to my website, which is, one of them is, www.womenstandingforlove.com. And you can read more about what we're doing. And the meeting tonight is going to be at the Pacific Cultural Center at 7:15 upstairs in the gallery. And I would so hope you come and join us. I am doing everything I can to start connecting with those people, not just women. I have connected with a number of men too, not for the meeting tonight, that is only for women. But I just love to connect with those people who really feel the truth of what we're sharing here, of what I'm sharing, what we're sharing in Women Standing for Love. I know that it is not for everyone. I'm very aware of that, at least this moment. But I am aware also that there are many, many people out there who have that same vision in their heart. The only thing that's been missing is just starting to connect with other people who have that same vision. So tonight, if you live in the Santa Cruz, or in the Bay Area, please come and join this gathering tonight. It's very, very beautiful. We've had some beautiful gatherings with deep, intimate sharing. Last month we shared about what it is that gets in the way from us really living the vision in our heart. And I can share with you some of the things that came up was something like there was a fear that there was not enough time in their life, that they felt that now I have to commit to one more thing. Or what does she want from me? Does she want money? Do I have to give money, or do I have to give more of my time that I already don't have enough of? And that we all sit with inside, and it was very powerful to share that with each other, because then it was all exposed and we could just see that we all had the same concerns and beliefs and fears, and that's what held us back. There was also one who shared, are people going to think I'm stupid, or what are they going to say about me if I share my vision? And these are things that really, really hold us back. But the beauty about it is when we shared that with each other, we realized that we all had something similar, and just by exposing them in a place that was safe, where nobody was judging any of us, there was just a deep welcoming of whatever, unconscious, subconscious beliefs that were holding us back. They could just come up and be put on the table and seen and loved, and it was okay. And when we all saw that, there was something that shifted energetically. Many of the women shared how their heart felt more open. They felt very connected to all of us, and there was this inspiration. There was more inspiration and motivation doing something. Some wanted to start doing some groups to help other people, and suddenly there was just an energy that started moving just by us being together and sharing what's in our heart and what holds us back. That was all. And then, of course, that it was done in a safe, non-judgmental setting where nothing was really required except just a heart-to-heart sharing. So that's happening tonight, and I'm going to add some new things to it, because I have been running into a lot of people and a number of organizations and people who are really out there doing the work that are so similar to my vision of women standing for love. And I'll just share with you the 3 pillars that Women Standing for Love is built on. I just like to repeat it because it's good to be reminded of it frequently so we can see where we fit in. The first pillar of Women Standing for Love is that we live it in ourselves and in our own life first. We stand for love inside of ourselves and in our life first. If excuse me, if we don't do that, we move out into the world from a place of emptiness inside, because we're not filled up, we're not standing for love in our own life for what matters to us. So it's very important to learn to stand for love in our own life first. When we do that, then we can start moving out and moving from this love however it directs us, whatever vision it's showing us. And then we can start getting together in groups with other people who have similar visions. They may not be the same, but there's always a similar thread in the visions, because at the bottom, at the core, we want the same. We want to live in a peaceful world that's built on core values that are sustainable and fulfilling for all of us. So then when we get in these groups, then that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is that in this group or in this circle that we're in, that we support each other in standing for love in our own life first. That is such an important piece. And then the other thing we do is we support each other in being true to our vision, so that in the circle, as a group, together, right? Together, if you want to move far, go far, we go together. So in this group, we go together in creating a vision that we all support, that we all want. And I will tell you, magic happens when we do that, when we get into these circles. So it's standing for love in yourself. Then it is getting into circles or groups with people who have that same drive, that same motivation to wake up to the truth of who they are, to stand for love in themselves, and from that place to start creating something in the world that truly matters for everyone. And then once we are in that group, the third pillar is that we consistently support each other in staying true to that, so that if other things come up, problems, issues, that we always keep at the forefront. Why are we here? Where are we going? And what is it that we want to create? Then you have a solid base with a solid goal, and nothing can really throw you off. I mean, it may throw you off, but if you're thrown off, you have your group of women, or men and women if you're in another group, to support you in getting back on track, in standing up again. That is what we all need, and that's why we need to get out of the isolation. And as I'm sharing my message, like I do everywhere right now, it's very interesting that I keep running into people who have the same message, who have the same vision. And a friend of mine just read this to me from a book that's coming, that I think it's already out by, let's see, the author is, his name is Charles Eisenstein. And I just want to read this little paragraph here. He says, in a time of mounting chaos and crumbling institutions, how can we as individuals do anything to make the world a better place? And then he says, we are all connected, all living in mutual symbiosis. And the small personal choices we make as individuals are far more effective and transformational than most of us imagine. And then he says, by fully embracing and practicing this principle of interconnectedness, we inherently become more effective agents of change and have far more positive influence on the world around us. That's exactly what we're doing at Women Standing for Love. And we think that our little choices make no difference. And that's probably why so many of us hold back. But because we are interconnected, every choice you make has an impact on the whole because we're not separate. We are not separate. We are interconnected. So everything we do has an impact. That means that if you don't do anything, that has an impact on the whole also. If you have a vision in your heart, or you have an idea or something that you know can make the world a better place, and if you hold that back, that impacts the world because it's not receiving what's been given you to share. And I understand that it can be a little overwhelming to share it in a big way, maybe in a big way that I'm doing it on a radio show. And we don't have to do that. We don't have to start like that. We don't even have to end up like that. We can just start small, right? Start with a small circle of people who you know want the same as you. It could be, you might put a little ad in the newspaper somewhere and just sharing, you might say, am I the only one who feels like this? And then you can share a little bit about how you're feeling. Or you can share, I have this vision. Is there anybody out there who feels the same way? Let's get together and see what we can do about it. That's how you start. And that's how you start creating something that you don't really know how it's going to unfold. But you need to take that first step. I want to share another thing with you that I just got connected with a little over a week ago. It's called Connecting the Good Worldwide. It's an organization that's been around for, I think, 10 years. And the founder of it, his name is Richard Flyer. And he started this, it's called Connections Gatherings. And again, it's so similar to Women Standing for Love. And when I keep hearing that and reading that what came through, what quote unquote came through here, what I realized, it's simply everywhere. And so many people are picking up on it now. And it's really, really exciting. Because what it means is that I'm not alone with my vision. I just need to look around and find out, there are so many out there with exactly the same vision. And these people here from the Connecting the Good Worldwide, they've been doing this for a while. And they have put it down. They have kind of built a foundation that anybody can copy, that anybody can make use of. You can go to their website. It's called Connecting the Good Worldwide. And they have things you can download about how to do these meetings. So I'm putting it out here on my radio show because I know this is big stuff. And I'm going to apply some of what they say tonight at my gathering because they are quite a few steps ahead of me. I didn't have it down the way they have it down yet. So I'm sharing of what they've learned. You see, I don't have to figure it all out on my own. I can just make use of what others have done already. And I want to connect with these people more and learn from them so I can bring that to my groups. So there's just a few things I want to share that they talk about. They talk about the 5 shared values. And when you start a gathering or a group or a circle, it's really important to know what the founding values are. And I think many times we kind of know what they are inside of ourselves, but we need to have them down so we really know what we're doing. And then when you are moving away from those values, you know you're moving away from the reason or the goal of being in this group. So the 5 shared values that they talk about are love, integrity, courage, service, and respect. And what they say about them briefly is this. Love, they say, the power that connects. And that includes compassion and kindness and gratitude for generosity, humility, patience. These are all the things, if we don't have that value or that quality of love, it's going to be very hard to connect. If we don't know about compassion or forgiveness, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be separation. So we need to keep the value, the core value, or the shared value of love at the forefront always. And then if anyone in the group is moving away from that by their behavior or by things they do, then guess what? The group is here to support all of us to stay true to the values. The second one they mention is integrity. And it says, do what is right. The ability to hold together and properly regulate all of the elements of the personality. So that means we learn to be authentic with each other. We're being responsible and accountable for what we came there for. We need to be honest, and we need to respect and honor each other. So that's another very important value that we have to have in that kind of situation. The third one they mention is courage. And it says strength to do what is right, to overcome fear, and adhere to the higher standard, no matter what happens. And you see, that's what I talk about in the third pillar, where we need to keep the goal at the forefront no matter what happens. So yeah, it takes courage and it takes strength and perseverance to be able to do that. It takes discipline. And again, you know, when you're in a group with other people, then we can help each other stay true to that. If we're doing it on our own, it's so easy. It's too easy to get afraid or overwhelmed or believe that we can't do it. And then we let it go and then we don't do it. But when we're in a group, it's different. It's just different, and we can do this. The fourth value they talk about is service. It's like service to humanity in daily life. And that can be caring and sharing and goodwill, community involvement, many things. So this is when you get in these groups, like when I talk about it, the second pillar is you get in a group because you have some same vision where you may want to do service in a certain area in your community. And a shared value they talk about is respect, to demonstrate positive regard to ourselves and others. And that's through mindfulness and fairness, cooperation, justice. Again, this is all the things we need in order for a group to function in a healthy way. So you see, when I talk about earlier that when we move out of the dysfunction that we have been living inside of ourselves and start healing that and start coming to terms with ourselves, we start bringing love to the parts inside of us that still feel separate and hurt and afraid. Then we can start bringing that into a group and be that for others, and let others be that for us. So when we start a group or circle that's based on these 5 shared values, my friends, then we can start creating something that we all want in the world, because we are living it inside ourselves and we are living it with each other. Can you see that if you're in a group where we commit to living these 5 values, and these are 5 values, and each value here has a lot of under categories. So it's not just that and you leave the rest out, but these are the core ones. And when we decide to live that with each other, it's amazing what can happen. First of all, we'll keep healing at deeper levels inside of ourselves. First of all, because we want to. And second of all, because we have committed to a group where we support each other in becoming that. Now, once we have that in place, then we can go back to that 4th value called service to humanity in daily life. And then we can start looking at what areas in our community would you like to put your efforts into? Where would you like to support something? What inspires you to make a difference in your community? And I think all of us has something inside of us that feels alive by something. I mean, as you already know about me, I love doing the food thing. I love growing food. I want to make sure there's good, healthy food for everyone, because that's one of the basic needs. And when those are not covered, people can't really function in a healthy way. Now, this same organization called Connecting the Good Worldwide stated 12 common needs, and I think everybody will agree with those. And I will just read them to you so you can start thinking about if there's one of these that resonates with you. I mean, if you were in a group where you feel supported in being true to yourself, in being true to each other, what would the next step be for you? What area would you like to start putting your love and your energy into? So here's 12 common needs. The first one they mention is local economy. And that could be a big one. That is for those people who really are interested in that and starting to create new local economies. And there's here in the Bay Area, there's already several of them happening. So if you live in the Bay Area, the one called Baybucks, you can go to baybucks.com, I think it is .com, and you can read up about it. And that's where you start using different ways. You start bartering, but it's set up in a very, very unique and supportive way for everyone. So if that's something you want to learn more about, you might want to put your efforts into that, right? And support them, volunteer there, or spread that message to other people. The next one is clean and healthy natural environment. So that's about protecting the community's natural resources. The next one is community peace and safety. So that means you're providing safety to our community by increasing the connections amongst neighbors and with community organizations and by fostering goodwill in our community. So just see if that is one that resonates with you. The next one they mention is food. And I think I've already talked about that one. Then there's neighbor helping neighbor. And as you know, from my street here, we are helping each other. Is there anything in your neighborhood where you can start getting together to create something just in your little community, your little neighborhood? Then there is community empowerment of those on the margins. Now that could be a big area, right? The homeless, the elderly, children, the youth, many areas. Then there's local energy. That's about sustainable and self-reliant energy for the future, for our community. Then there's arts and culture. And then there's housing, affordable and safe housing for all. The next one is family and community health and wellness. So that could be promoting physical, mental, emotional wellness of families. And there's a lot of need in that in every town and city. The next one is education and mentoring. And the last one they mention is extended spiritual network. And that's one that, of course, underlies everything, because we need to have our spiritual connection realized inside so we can move from that place of wholeness and awakeness. And that is one thing that we have started here at my house too once a week, is that we meditate. There's a group of us meditating to help raise consciousness in our community. So that's a beautiful one if you feel connected to meditating, to stillness, to raising awareness. They're all necessary. And the beauty is that when we get together in circles, many, many circles in the community, you can bet that there's different flavors in each group. Each group is moved to put their energy into something different. Or maybe there'll be cross-pollinating between the groups. There probably is, because there has to be, because it all comes back to the oneness, where there is one central hub where all the spokes connect to. But every single spoke is necessary in the wheel. So my friends, I want to just think about, I want to just invite you to think about what it would be like if you started connecting in some kind of a group or circle with people who want the same as you, so you don't have to do it all on your own anymore. Wouldn't that be amazing? Even though it may mean that you need to take out some time from your busy life, I know it's the hardest thing for most people to take out time from your busy life to start creating a life that's less busy. I mean, you need to look at why we're doing it. If there is a purpose in taking out some time, maybe cutting away some time from Facebook or the computer, maybe, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, and use that time instead to get together with a group of people where you can start creating something sustainable, fulfilling, something that makes you feel happy, something that makes you feel that you don't always have to do and do it on your own, but that you find like-visioned and light-hearted people where you can do that together with. And guess what? We're right at the top of the hour. That went so fast. I probably could share a lot more about this, but this is just the beginning. And I want to invite you to start thinking about, is there anybody you know that you can start connecting with, maybe on your street, maybe your friends, maybe somebody that you've met somewhere or somebody you've read about. Start connecting with these people. And if you feel up for it, then put a little ad in the newspaper and see what comes back. You can always say no if it's the wrong people, if they don't resonate with you. So these are just to give you some ideas. And if you want to connect with me more, please go to my website. It is www.lillarose.com, spelled LILLA rose.com, or go to womenstandingforlove.com and connect with me that way. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you because that's what I'm all about. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here today. I'm wishing you a blessed day and look forward to spend more time with you next week. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.